gosh.
Good morning. We're live.
We're live.
We did it.
Oh.
What's going on? Oh no.
Oh no, Noir, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, you're just reminiscing.
Just frustrated. It's been a morning. Morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode. Oh, I forgot to mute the Twitch stream. I was hearing myself. Oh my God. Welcome to this episode of Morning Ritual. It's a clusterfuck and I apologize.
But we made it. We're here.
Anita, help.
I'm saying like by the skin of our teeth because like we've all had tech issues this morning. It's not just you. Danny's monitor went out. I didn't have music on the stream for like the first 20 minutes because my monitors weren't working properly.
So a fun thing is happening. Your sound is coming in and out for me. So it's just like there are times where you're like, I'm about to fight my computer. I don't know what happened. All right, let me just turn up the volume and see if that helps. So, of course, today we have a fantastic guest who's been so wonderfully patient with our shenaniganery. Hey, let's say hello to Danny. Thank you so much for joining us. I promise we're usually a much more professional operation here.
Oh, stop it. Y'all are exactly how I know you.
Thank you, and I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. I get to hang out with y'all.
Chad is fighting us because apparently we're very attractive this morning.
All I heard was Chad is fighting us because apparently morning.
Well, you can fill in. It's a Mad Lib. You get to fill in the blank.
Okay, switch your headphones. Fuck this one. I try.
Werewolf, please. You're
I'll never
absolutely
be
a
sponsored by
gorgeous human
Logitech,
being.
so I can safely and comfortably tell them to go fuck themselves. That I don't know what the hell's going on with their goddamn headphones, but they are not it right now. Let's see. Let's use the $15 ones from Amazon, baby. They never fail.
We're wired, baby. We're wired.
There we go.
Hey, how are you doing? Are we good? Can you hear us?
We're
Is it
good so
solid?
far. Yeah, we're solid so far, but you know, the way this morning is going, no goddamn promises.
Welcome to Morning Ritual. It's a clusterfuck is our new catchphrase.
What happened?
More Shaddy says that should be the new catchphrase. Welcome to Morning Ritual. It's a clusterfuck.
I mean, I'd say we'd make shirts. We'd make shirts of that, but you know, I'd be lying.
I will catch that hug. I will catch those arms, AJ.
So first and foremost, I hope everybody is having a much better morning. And I hope at some point y'all got to sleep because fun fact, I didn't sleep.
Is that a fun fact?
It is a fun fact. I spent most of 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. watching otter videos and people feeding bats.
Freaking bats.
I love
Halloween.
I love
those midnight sky puppies.
Before I got cut off, I said that Chad is fighting us because we're all attractive today.
Okay, so I'm gonna challenge that notion. You see this? This is a stain on my shirt. It is 10 in the morning, and I already have a stain on my shirt. So, what you gonna do about that?
Fun fact, AJ was awake when you tweeted about bats and otters.
So you should have also gone to bed.
Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Anita. Down here.
Oh, we didn't do that yet. Yeah, that's right. What's up? Oh, that's my turn. I'm the other host.
I'm trying to get the show back on the rails, but let's face it, there were never rails to begin with. This is a sandbox TV show, Twitch show.
We're just floating.
We haven't even made it to Dark Roast yet. This is impressive.
Water Noodle and Sky Puppy videos are never a waste.
I mean, we introduced the guest, so that's slightly professional.
It is. We introduced our guest.
Yes, we introduced ourselves.
The bingo card says introduce ourselves, and I was trying to get in under the 30-minute mark, which we did.
Yeah, we should give you a little bit of lore of the show. Our audience, being the petty motherfuckers that they are, they made a bingo card of all the things that we do and don't do. Like, apparently, I think like the free boxes that I go on a rant about something, which I never do. It's
so to every single clip of you ranting ever.
Just ranting everything.
I don't rant. I just go on passionate tangents about things that are important to society.
Ooh.
See there, like that. You just gotta rephrase it, and you can get away with anything you want. That's politics right there. So my first question is: you have become the internet's himbo. First off, how do you feel about that, and how did you pull that off?
Well, I always say the first rule of a himbo is that you can't just say that you're a himbo. You either are deemed a himbo by a bisexual, a non-binary person, a femme person. So it's not something that I said I was. I've been deemed this honor, and I don't know. It's just who I am. It's just in my bones.
I just love the idea that at some point during the night, femmes, non-binary, and queer people
we met as a council.
They get met by a mysterious stranger. They go, "You now have the power to bestow this title. Use it wisely, or else." And then the figure vanishes into the night.
We all sort of swoop in with our cloaks, and then we converge. It's like on the full moon. And then we all separate, and we never see each other.
It
is the Himbo Council.
And then you wake up and your pecs are a little bit bigger and your heart is a little bit warmer, and you're like, wow, I need to carry this helm.
Werewolf was at the meeting. Campaigned hard. Listen, it was an impassioned speech, Norden.
I'm just imagining you wake up as a newly formed himbo, you just break all your PRs, like, I'm stronger now.
That's exactly how it went.
Oh man, so I have to ask, being the pinnacle of himbo, have there been any stories of himbos gone wrong? The dark himbo.
Himbo's gone wrong.
I have an idea of a himbo gone wrong. Like I have a person in mind that I consider.
Oh, I think I know exactly who you're thinking of.
We will see. Who do you think?
I think Kevin Sorbo is the example of a himbo gone wrong.
That is not who I was thinking of. I don't think Kevin Sorbo ever got himbo status.
I think Hercules put him in the running for a little bit, but then the whole conservative mess took him out of the running.
I don't know, man. Like
the himbo breaker.
I was thinking Terry Crews.
Oh yeah,
everybody loved Terry Crews.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know. I'm
the himbo.
Me being more on Twitter and TikTok, you'll have a lot of these like misogynistic, like mostly cishet white gays that are like, I'm a himbo, and I'm like, are you a himbo? Because when shit happens, y'all are very quiet and y'all don't say nothing about speaking up for when your friends are misogynistic or trans, and you just hate on women all the time. And it's just like, maybe you should take that not to gatekeep himbology, but I'm just like, that's one of the pillars. You got to respect people, man. And it's just like,
has someone made a paladin oath of the himbo yet?
Oh yes, actually someone sent me, dang it. That has been done. I forget by who. Let me search my.
If you have to state your himbo on social, you're not a himbo.
That's part, yeah. If you have to say you're a himbo, Probably not a himbo.
It's the equivalent of a guy saying, "I'm a nice guy."
Oh,
I
hate that was ruined for me.
Any guy that says I'm a nice guy is not a nice guy.
I mean, I think that's why paladins have auras, so they don't have to say they're a paladin. You just feel it.
Yeah.
I would have a PhD in hymnology.
that red flag meme, I love it so much because people are exposing themselves. Like they're like, oh, here's a red flag. We can all agree on it. Everybody's like, oh.
My favorite thing that I've seen on TikTok recently is there's this girl that went on Hinge and started just asking guys for their most controversial opinions. And she cracked the code, y'all.
What's the code?
She asks guys for their most controversial opinion, and then it's just like, I don't believe women and men will ever be equal. You mean, like, how do you mean? Like, physically, biologically, it's just not possible. Or there's like,
I'm trying to think of what's my most controversial opinion. It would probably be something akin to, I legitimately think that Highlander is a better franchise than Harry Potter, and I'll fight anybody about it. Not only is there less transphobia in Highlander, it's just a better mythos. I'm sorry.
There was one that was based on intelligence, and the guy's like, she asked, like, what do you mean? And he's like, racially, you know. Yeah, like straight outright just admitting to the racism and the transphobia and the misogyny. It's perfect.
The confidence of men when they're trying to impress women. Why would you ever feel the need to say something like that?
Highlander -1 movie is indeed better than Harry Potter.
There's only one Highlander movie. Everybody keeps talking about this Highlander 2 movie that came out, and no such thing ever happened.
It's one of those Mandela effects.
Yeah, you're on the wrong universe, buddy. But the confidence of shitty dudes in general, I have like zero confidence in like some of the shit I've seen people DM me, or some of the shit I've seen people say online. It's like, you are bold.
Right.
But you're bold for evil.
That's the thing, is I'm trying to be bold for good. I'm trying to like behave with the confidence of a mediocre white man, but to like help things and help people.
It's like, so true.
I had somebody full on go like, obviously you know about this. I had somebody full on explain to me why the season finale of Into the Southlands was wrong mechanically. And I'm just like, I know that. But it was fun.
Nope, you can't have fun. You can't tell stories. It must make sense mechanically.
Why?
Well, I mean, these are the same people there was people on Reddit that were complaining about our first season because we were having too much fun at the table.
Yeah.
Too many laughs.
I don't know why I still go on Reddit. I think I just like being mad. Bebo! Oh. So sorry. We've got a question in chat for Danny. How do you spread so much joy, and do you need some joy back sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, look at chat, like look at our community. I do receive joy back just by interacting with people. So that's it. It's a positive loop. The same
question also applies to Noir.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Keep going.
Yeah, it does. You're after me. You get 20 more seconds to think about your answer. But yeah, it's one of those things where if you put stuff out there, I mean, not all the stuff that I put out obviously is is joyful and positive, but it's being a part of a community that helps push forward this idea that you can have fun, you can be different, but you also call out shit when it needs to be called out. And sometimes that's really fun too.
That is dope. I have to tell you, like, you kind of inspired me to get back to the gym. I went back to the gym for the first time in a very long time this week, and I did some lifting, and then I cried because my muscles are going. I was just like, I remember when I used to lift and I put the plates on, and I was like, oh that time has passed.
It hasn't passed. It'll get back there. Got to build back up to it.
You ever hear your body talk shit about you? Like, and this is for the hours of sitting, and this is for the keyboard warriorness, and this is those TikToks right there. I'm like, oh. Still got my leg presses though. My legs, they never betrayed me. But my arms, they gone, y'all. I don't know what happened.
AJ also has a question for chat. For all of us, what do you do for self-care to recharge and get some happy vibes? I am actually, I'll let you both answer this because my answer requires me to leave the room for a second.
Oh, you get the cats.
Yeah, I mean, my self-care is this lump back here. that booty, that Bowser butt right there. That's my self-care.
We marijuana,
Easy.
Kush, purple stank.
I mean,
dangling.
also, yes, that. But recently I started to get back into art. So right now I'm making a piece of art for my wall. It's just a work in progress. And I don't know if you can see it. But yeah.
I love it. Are you
It's going to be acrylic and marker, I think.
I'm also being goofy. Music is also like the positives. We can see all the stuff over here.
I mean, if you want me to do that, I can just do this. And then put him back.
I love how defeated cats look whenever somebody.
I know, they're like,
"Fuck, I could kill you."
When you die, I can feast on your body for at least 31 days.
But I need to actually go to the store and go to the dollar store and get more paintbrushes. And apparently I've lost my white acrylic paint, so I don't know where that is. I need to also get more of that.
Would you ever open up like an Etsy shop or commissions or anything like with physical art? Because I know you do like the digital
yeah, I do graphic design. I want to get my skills to a place where I think that they're decent enough. This is kind of like my first test to see if I can do it, because this is just a 16 by 20 mat board, and I'm gonna need to get more supplies. But yeah, I would consider opening up commissions.
That'd be cool
if that was a thing people were interested in.
It's me. I'm interested. It is I.
It is
We're
you.
People. So I asked this of anybody that's on like multiple social media platforms. I have to know which audience is the most troublesome to deal with. Your Twitter audience, Twitch audience, or your TikTok audience?
You know what? Troublesome as in like funny, haha, y'all are goofy, troublesome, or like problematic?
I mean like, problematic. Like,
okay.
Oh my God, I've got to moderate. Who makes you put on the moderator hat the most?
That's probably TikTok for sure.
Yeah,
just because.
Me
Yeah, TikTok is so volatile. Like when something goes viral, like me and Anita were talking about it. Like you can be brought into the wrong side of TikTok real quick, and then the algorithm just switches on you, and then you have to plead for the queers to come get you back.
Those are my favorite TikToks. I've ended up on conservative TikTok. If you're a gay or a they, please come and rescue me.
comment on this?
Comment, interact, like, share this post, please. Anything.
I swear to God, I just want to make a TikTok account that is like the fucking National Guard of TikTok.
Do it.
Where it's just like we got a man down, we gotta go.
Well, the thing on TikTok too is like you'll have these marginalized people that will say things like they say things to be controversial because they want a large audience. So they're trying to be the next, like, oh, I'm a gay person, but I don't believe in abortion, or I'm a gay person and I don't believe that you should walk in pride events. And it's just like,
I'm a black
bro,
person, but it's okay if you play colored POC characters on your D&D games.
right. And the thing on TikTok is if you can cause controversy, you'll go viral. And that incentivizes people to just say the goofiest things. And you're just like what does this get you? Like, like, what's going on? Because then you become a pawn in this whole alt-right movement. And it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've ended up, I'm currently in, so I need to be rescued. I'm currently in a Hotep TikTok. And if you're unfamiliar, it is the misogynist, transphobic, and homophobic portion of the Black community. I ended up there because I was talking shit about, like, well, I was like, hey, the Dave Chappelle special, no. And then like the algorithm was like, Dave Chappelle, let's see who else is talking about it. And then it was just like some of the shit, man, I've been exposed to, y'all. Like, I'm laughing about it, but it is actually dangerous because, like, I mean, the algorithm will try and feed you like something that's close to your opinion, but just skewed enough where you're like, oh, this guy's talking, this guy spin for real. And then at the end of it is just like, and the Jews. And you're like, wait,
nope.
hold on.
But,
we don't do that. We don't do that here.
There are weird pipelines on TikTok. Because I'm breaking into witch talk and I'm realizing that there is definitely a pipeline of witch talk into white supremacy TikTok, because a lot of white supremacists co-opt Norse mythology.
Yeah.
So there is like that funnel, and I'm trying desperately to avoid it so hard.
I hate that they have a place to speak. Like, I know, like, you know, everybody should have the freedom of speech, but like,
yeah, there's some definite turfy witches too, Nick. You're right.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like, yeah, everybody needs a place to speak, but the disproportionate amount of marginalized creators that get banned immediately without any sort of anything, and then you have this other side that's just saying whatever the hell they want, and they got millions of followers, and it's just like, why? Like, I don't understand.
I've got 15 videos that have community violations, and like most of them would just be like doing like the fucking D&D OC shit where it's just like, I got a sword, I'm my character, woo woo woo. They're like, fuck you, you got a weapon. And then it's just like,
right.
And then it's just like, but these other people have weapons.
Yeah, you have these dudes like literally shooting guns into the air and like into the wild, and they're like, more.
We love that. We love that.
There's
like,
there's a difference, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Quite.
There's another video I did, like, and I don't know what I was doing, but they were just like, this is a lewd and sexual act. And I'm like, I was fully clothed the whole, first off, thank you, TikTok, for thinking that I would even have the nerve to do a thirst trap. I would never.
I've seen your Star Trek thirst trap.
I was about to say, Nora, you're just a walking thirst trap. You don't gotta...
I don't believe that for a second. What I am is a walking McNugget. So
exactly, I said what I said.
But it's just, man, TikTok is, we need a like alternative, but it's addicting. Like it's fun because you meet cool people, you learn cool perspectives, you see cool shit. But like when you try and take part in it, like it really I really can't tell you how many times like I've had videos called out for bullying where like somebody will walk in my comments and be like, hey, you a monkey and all this other racism. And I'm like, well, I'm about to cook you for 5 minutes. And they're like, quit being a bully. And I'm like, did y'all not see him call me a ding-dong monkey for like 18 comments? Because they never comment once. They got to really get in there. And,
yeah, it's bonkers.
TikTok
but I'll
me.
never go to Instagram Reels, so
yeah. TikTok scares me. I open it and it's like 10K screaming voices all singing different songs trying to shatter my brain.
I think that's why I like it. Because my brain can just it'll like tick different parts of my brain while I just scroll.
I mean, there's shit on TikTok that I didn't know that I needed until like I've just like this. Oh no, my table, it's broken. Like I thought that okay, it happened and now it's done. They have put that in every song possible, and every time they do it, it's like a warm little internet hug. It's just
and people are so fast with the memes. Like they're like, we're gonna insert in other memes, so then it's like memeception of just like
like there's one where it's like the berries and cream good soup and oh no, our table is broken, and it's like as a mashup and a whole song.
But like, why does it work?
I don't know.
Like my favorite is because I genuinely love the song, but oh no, it's you that I die with or whatever. Like, but they did it with the table. It's like, oh no, our table is broken. The sound of the table crash. I shit my pants laughing at it the first time I heard it.
I think a good one is the In the Air Tonight, where it's the oh no, our table is broken.
Are you guys on Cupcake TikTok?
TikTok. Wait, what's Cupcake TikTok?
The rapper Cupcake. She has some clips that have gone viral, and it's kind of the same thing with my table. They'll just insert her ad libs, I guess. I'll send you some. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know the ones that you're talking about. I've sent a couple to Noir.
Okay, it's where she okay.
It's a little more vulgar than
my
table.
When it just gets inserted into random songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the other thing I like about TikTok is the fact that like little things blow up in a big way, like and it brings a sense of community. And I feel like once it hits a certain level of notoriety, that's when it kind of we lose interest. Like Pug the Noodle before it started trending on Twitter. It was like our own little thing,
like a little secret. Yeah,
it was like, is it a Bones Day? And now it's just like, I mean, it's still a thing, but it's just the way that it's blown up. It's just it's interesting to see where that goes. And now like TikTok has gotten all dark, like it's a 13-year-old pug, right?
What am I gonna do without
well, I mean, Noodle was also on like Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Also, it is a Bones Day today, so
it's a Bones Day.
And the thing is, like, Latia pointed something out that got me heated, which was like, Noodle's owner got verified so fast by Twitter, like so fast, and it's just like, I like Latia's still not verified, Critical Bard's still not verified. It's just.
It's
All these
bonkers.
motherfuckers had pugs.
Have you
Right.
seen, have you seen the
Verified,
new
quick.
trend though?
What's the new trend?
The snail.
No.
You are granted immortality.
Okay.
However, there is a snail somewhere in the world that is always out to find you. And if it touches you, you die.
I'd win. Let's go. Or maybe after a while, if you're just immortal.
Snail is also immortal.
Snail's awesome.
I just sleep with salt surrounding my bed and on my ceiling.
Salt circle.
Like fuck that snail. I'm ready for war. Like that's the kind of thing that I'm excited about. Like I've got an arch enemy. Fuck yeah.
The person that made the original post, because it was on Reddit, and she came onto TikTok and was like, okay, I've done the math on this. If you stay in one spot and, like, you know, you occasionally vacation and you occasionally, like, go out for groceries or whatever, even just that simple act of moving around, the snail will never get to you.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm immortal, I'm pretty sure I could get wealth by just like growing my money. And like at some point, the opportunity's got to hit where like I get a lump sum of money and then I can just grow it, or I could do some shady shit. Look, if I live forever, I'm not pretending for a second I'm gonna be a good guy.
Well, I'm thinking immortality. At one point, you're probably gonna not want to be immortal. Like you're just gonna be bored.
You're just gonna
So
have
then
to find
now
that snail.
you're looking for the snail. But then where the heck is this? How the fuck are you gonna find a snail at?
That's why you gotta incur wealth so that you can invest in snail hunting technology.
There's one where it's like this girl's like, it's like me on my way to murder my 16th husband before he finds out that I'm immortal, and then it's like cuts to the snail with like and it's just her with like this single tear going down her face.
So the name of the game is get rich, hunt snail, have purpose in life, and then once you get to that point where you find the snail and you're like sword to sword, you let it go.
It's
Showdown.
the snail version of Highlander.
This is what I thrive on.
I know.
Like normal immortality would suck in comparison to having a designated arch enemy that I'm clearly better than.
Wow.
A JoJo
Y'all heard it
snail
here. Noir thinks he's better than snails.
That you heard it here first. Cancel me, baby.
Start the twit longer.
I'm so
I must
fucking
speak
sick
out.
of cancellation. Like,
I'm
can
telling Reddit.
can somebody tell me how the fuck cancellation exists and Mel Gibson just got casted in the John Wick TV show?
Yikes. Listen, I've been trying to get canceled by the alt-right for the longest time, but they won't leave me alone.
I don't know what their obsession with you. Like, they like you. It's that thing immature people do where they like you and they're like, I'm gonna neg you until you like me back, I guess.
It's punching
I
your
guess.
crush on the playground syndrome, that thing.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't want to be touched by them. I don't want them to talk to me. Just cancel me. Cancel me.
Yeah, I had a wave of Nazis for a while there on TikTok.
Oof.
It was a mess. And like I think we talked about this last episode. They were all using like anime names and like icons, and I'm like, how are you this bad at being racist? Just fucking how? And it's 2021. How is racism still a thing? How have we not beaten this?
Oof.
How have we not beaten? Like, how can any guy think that men are inherently stronger and better than women? The lean beef patty exists. I just want her to uppercut me just one time. Like we all grew up watching China in WWE.
Right.
What are we? what are we doing, guys?
Joni made me ask some hard questions about myself.
Who?
Joni.
Oh yeah,
China.
I love China. She was a sweet bee who got did dirty, and I'll never forgive WWE for that. I just so I have to ask you, Danny, you post a lot of like thirst trappy stuff, and it's good stuff. I always worry about with anything that I post, like family, like popping up and being like, what is this? So have you had any awkward moments with people you know IRL, like seeing your online persona, seeing your online identity?
Kinda. So the reason I actually post thirst traps is because it does help me out with my own perceived image if anybody ever says, oh, it doesn't matter what people think, well, it matters a little bit, and that self-gratification is nice as you're trying to learn to love yourself. But yeah, it's a one of my TikToks went viral of me, like a lot of people were just like saying like, oh my gosh, short king, we need a short king in our lives, because I said I was 5'6" in one of my videos.
Oh, short, you're short. Oh yes, yes, we out here.
That's what I'm saying. So something as simple as me saying like I'm only 5'6" and people are hyping this up, that went viral on TikTok, and I think it went viral on straight TikTok, and I don't think a lot of people understood that I was queer. So I had all these women in my comments just saying like, oh my gosh, we love a short king, like, oh my gosh, I'll leave my husband for you. I was like, what? And it was like a body positivity thing where I'm just like, hey, I'm 5'6", like 250 pounds, like it is what it is, like this is what I look like. And that went viral. And then I get a coworker messaging me, and they were just like, hey, you're in this group chat with a whole bunch of my girlfriends. If you ever want to try out being straight, let me know. And I was like, excuse me, try out? So that was kind of weird. Luckily, we're working virtually, so I don't have to see them face to face. But
she was trying to airdrop some dick to her buddies.
That was a weird moment.
That is very forward.
Yeah, yep.
Oh.
Trial period straight.
Right. You want to experiment on the straight side?
Do you want to experiment? God.
But yeah, luckily my mom isn't on the socials other than YouTube. And my brother is on socials, but he's on the straight side of the socials. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, if you have a reasoning, and then if someone close to you calls it out, you can have a conversation with them and be like, does it bother you that I'm feeling myself? Or like, does it bother you that you're seeing this side of me? And ask them why, or like what's jarring about this, like what's going on, like did you like it? Did you not? Like, so it's always that little voice in the back of your head, like, oh no, what if someone sees this? But at one point or another, like I've sold pictures of my butt to raise money for charity, so it's kind of like whatever. If that's what I'm gonna be known for, then that's a thing.
Oh, I love that. I'm still laughing at your coworker too, by the way. That was bold.
That would have been a really awkward Zoom meeting if you had actually had
I tried to hook it up for her friends. I mean, she's a good friend.
She's a good friend,
I guess. Just holy shit. No, I asked that because I've taken to being a little bit more like open about thirst on the socials, and like on like my very first post about being thirsty, my mom liked it on TikTok. And I was just like, well, this is something that I've got to live with knowing forever.
Your mom's on TikTok?
I did not know this.
Oh,
And I was just like, I know, wait, that username looks familiar. That picture looks familiar. That person looks familiar. That's my mom.
I mean, we knew that your mom has seen some of your streams.
Yeah. So, I mean, she may very well be here now. Hi, Mom. Don't do that shit no more.
what if she just wants to be supportive? That's weird, but I mean...
Sweetie, I'm proud of your thirst. I'm glad this is what you're doing with your life.
I think it was like a TikTok where I was like begging a lady to murder me. Like my mom's like, that's right. You take my baby out.
That's my
I
boy.
brought him in this world and you take him out. I love the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, do you have any projects that you're like working on? Anything major coming up? Anything that that you're kind of proud of, or any kind of sneak peeks we can get?
I can't say too much, but
Ooh, there's an NDA. I love it.
I've left my corporate job. Yesterday was my last day after 7 years.
Congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a little scary. I haven't been streaming as much just because that particular job, it started ramping up. They wanted us back in the office, and then I was working like 10-hour days. And it got to a point where I'm just like, I've been here for 7 years. Oh, actually almost 8 or 9 years. Because it was like I graduated college, I was an intern, and then I started working for them. So it's the only job I ever knew. I was just like, you know what? It's probably about that time that I start trying to make moves. So I took the leap, and I luckily a dream job popped up, and that is in the works. I know that's very cryptic, but it'll be in the gaming industry, and I'm super stoked. But it's a little that imposter syndrome, it's a real thing. It's one of those like shit, like what if I fuck things up and I just left a stable job and all that. But
no, trust me, I feel that exact same way. I want to say I'm like a year and a half in on the free fall that comes from leaving the stability of knowing when your next check is coming. Yeah. If there's anybody that it's in this space that can do it, it's you, man. Like, you got this.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
In that imposter syndrome, like, thank you so much for like talking about that, because it never goes away and we all feel it. And like, to me, if somebody as like clearly built for this life like you feels that imposter syndrome, it kind of makes it like easier for me to
it's validating.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is just a thing that happens to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the same thing with y'all. Like, I see how what y'all do, and I was talking to Anita before the stream a little bit, and it's just like, it's always good to have friends that have not necessarily like y'all have done what I'm about to do, and even though it's scary, y'all are doing very well, and it's like, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it, and I'll just try to keep that positive self-talk up. Ooh,
but yeah, if you ever need an extra dose of positivity, we're always here. I mean, like, I am. It's great to see people taking a chance on themselves, like betting on themselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll always be 100% honest and tell them like it's a lot of work. But the way I figure it is, you're going to be doing a lot of work anyway. I'd much rather you do that work for yourself.
Exactly.
Doing something that makes you happy.
Yeah. 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 It's the weird part was like, I absolutely loved my job. So I love my coworkers and stuff. So it was one of those like double-edged sword. Like, I could stay here and I could feel, like I'm just coasting, or I could, like you said, just take the leap and see what happens.
I'm not asking where you used to work, but you mind if I ask what you used to do?
Yeah. So I was a health and wellness coordinator for a large, like Fortune 10 company.
Oh
So
shit.
yeah, so it was a nice comfortable gig where I got to work with the benefits team and HR and pretty much just provide like trainings, exercise classes. I did a lot of community outreach with our employees. I did team builders and anything like that. Anything that was wellness or fitness related that we could affect our employees, that was kind of in our realm. So when I moved down to Florida specifically for the job to open up they call it a center of excellence, where a lot of the big wigs will come down and they're trying to bring new jobs. So it was a big move, just thinking like, hey, I'm moving from state to state away from my family, and then it kind of established me down here, and then it's kind of like, oh, I'm kind of uprooting what I pretty much moved my life for, to just start another chapter. So but yeah, it's it's a fun job, it's a great job. Like I said, it was a comfortable job. It was in what I got my degree in. It helped me get my master's degree in
Oh,
exercise science as well, and it's provided me a lot of opportunities. But over the past year and a half, when it wasn't live and I wasn't getting energy from people, it started to become very draining and monotonous, and that
yeah.
was when I was like, I need to start making moves.
Well, first off, congrats on the Masters. Jesus Christ.
Oof, yeah. That's right. People are like, how can you be a himbo and have your master's degree? And I'm like, I literally got my master's in working out. So
Your master's degree is in hymboology.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got my master's on how to move the bodies to make my muscles bigger. So
I know the most efficient way to flex.
exactly, literally.
Well, but that's fucking awesome. Like, so this is a hard question, like, and I understand that, and I usually like I only sometimes ask this one, but in 10 years, what does it look like for you? Like, where would you want to be? Like, if you could shape reality, you got the reality stone. Like, what would that look like for you?
Yeah, honestly, I always told myself I want to be in a position where I can affect the tabletop gaming community through board games, tabletop RPGs, TCGs, whatever it is, in a way where it actually feels inclusive at all levels. Whether you're a basic consumer, whether you're a new gamer coming in, whether you're a content creator, influencer, whether you're in the industry, I want to be in a position where over those 10 years I've affected that push towards not just diversity, but also like equity in the space, having that not power, that position. Really, I mean, we are trying to carve out these positions of power so that we can bring others up with us. So that's the goal. And that's why I kind of made that leap from corporate to somewhere. I'm going somewhere a little bit smaller, but it's a place where my voice can be heard a little bit more.
Yeah.
I can throw my inhibitions away and just like, hey, this is what I see that's happening in the community. This is what I would think would help move it forward. So I think within 10 years, I really would like to see the landscape of where we're at and make it so much easier for people to just not be scared to jump in, or not be scared to listen to different stories, or not be scared to be called out and learn from other people.
I really like that, because I feel like right now in our scene we have the intent, but I don't think that we have the follow through. I think the whole kerfuffle with the Critical Role this week, where there's a lot of gatekeeping of gender identity, I think that kind of exposed a lot of people who talk the talk but aren't necessarily at the point where they're walking the walk.
Mhm.
um and I think that by having more people in positions of actual influence will be able to shape and filter our community better. And I feel like we desperately need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
I'm in full support of that.
I always see, so I started off as a board game content creator, and then I've within the past 2 years just dove in headfirst into the tabletop RPG realm. But I see so many marginalized creators like working their butts off, and then they get discouraged or burnt out or whatever because they do see people like Critical Role, or in the board game industry they see these YouTubers that have these massive audiences, and it sets the tone of what they think they need to do to make it big. But if we think systemically, we see these people that have they're up there, they are talented and they've been putting in the work, but they've been doing it for such a long time. So a lot of times people forget that they've been putting 4, 5, 6, 7 years, they've amassed this audience and they've set the standard. So how can we squish that 4, 5, 6 years of building over time of this audience and break it apart so that you don't need 4, 5, 6, 7 years for probably even more for a marginalized creator, because they're already starting off with a much smaller audience that if they ever try to expand out, they're looked at sideways. So it's like, how can we get to that point in content creation or in the industry where it's like to have the big power players? How do we get more people into that power player position where people can tell these stories without having, like just having that luxury of being able to do this for the past 10 years?
I think that's kind of the thing too, is like even Critical Role is kind of a product of being the only show of its kind at the time. Like, it really sort of revolutionized the whole actual play genre, and a lot of it is lightning in a bottle, and people keep trying to recreate that. But the thing is they've probably got financial backing, they've got investors, they've got a head start on a lot of folks that are trying to do this.
Yeah, and that's, you said it exactly right. Like, they had somewhere along the line, they had friends that had the production equipment, they have this high quality environment where they're encouraged to play and they're encouraged to be funny, and they might have acting skills, and they might have been able to take improv classes, and they might be professional comedians. And as someone that has grown up in poverty, like, when the heck am I supposed to take an improv class or a class to learn graphic design when I'm trying to work 3 jobs, going through college, or going, it's like taking care of my family? So it's like, how do we, again, shake it up, break it down, and like give these opportunities? Where can we create opportunities online and affect these people that don't have that opportunity elsewhere in the real world, in the physical space?
Yeah, and I think it's all about, it comes down to community building.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you can keep going.
No, I was gonna say, one of the things is a lot of the old guard. When a brand gets bigger and bigger, like your Critical Roles and like your Dimension 20s, that they have more and more investors and more people that are invested in them succeeding. If Critical Role goes under, it's not just Critical Role who loses, it's the hand. D&D Beyond takes a hit, Wormwood takes a hit, all of the brands that consistently sponsor and help them out, they all take a hit. Like, they're not just sponsoring to sponsor, they are invested in the success of that show succeeding. And when a new actual play starts, the only person that's invested in the success of that show is the person who creates it and the cast.
Yeah, the players, yeah.
And I think if we look back to the Twitch payout leak, you can see that the algorithm isn't doing us any favors either. And that's part of because of the head start that they have, and it's part of just, it is what it is. So it's just, there's a lot that you have to push back against, and you have to do it in a short amount of time, just like you're saying. And I've been one of those marginalized creators where it's just like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Like I'm like I'm going full tilt. Like I've got like 3 shows a day. What the shit? Like, you know, it's anything worth doing is worth the grind. And I think one of the things that a lot of our guests reiterate over and over and over again is that you have to keep going. And I always try and preach that as well, mainly because the easiest way to inspire yourself, I've discovered, is to try and inspire somebody else, because then you don't want to make yourself a hypocrite. That's like, all right, don't quit. Now I'm gonna quit. Oh, fuck this. Like you can't do that. So.
And I think that's the thing too that you kind of touched on, is that like no person is an island. Like, critical misses is critical misses, but I also have you and Dee behind the scenes helping me out with like getting shows together, casting, like that sort of thing. And even bigger shows like that is like Adventure Zone, Dimension 20. Adventure Zone had like the McElroys with My Brother and Me and like all their shows. And Dimension 20 has college humor. So these places have a base to start. They have a foundation. And that's the thing, is you have to start building a community that can be your foundation. And it starts with people.
Yeah. So yeah, in 10 years, I want to be that foundation. I want to be that head start for people. And I want to be that investor, that person that can say, hey, companies, like, look at this amazingness and see what's going on.
Heck yeah.
Help them.
Help them. Like, why not?
No, I positively love that. Now I have to ask you a question that we ask every guest. There is a war in the TTRPG community, and I'm scared to ask this, but of people who believe that dice are for crunching. They put it in their mouths and just kind of crunch them around. And then there are those of us who believe that dice don't go in your fucking mouth. We believe that you should stop the crunch because it's a choking hazard. It's dangerous for your teeth.
It's unsanitary.
And then there's a small subsect of cowards who will not commit to one side or the other.
Crunch responsibly.
No, you're just cowards. So you commit.
Candy dice exist.
No, well, that they eat goddamn candy dice. So anyway, Danny, I have to ask you, what side of this war are you on? Do you crunch dice, or do you think that we should stop the crunch?
I'm team crunch the dice.
Oh, fuck.
Crunch crew.
Crunch crew. As someone that has dice in their mouth, probably more more than I would like to admit.
Hashtag Himbo's got a crunch.
Honestly, yeah, you don't know. There might be some fiber in these resin dice. I don't know.
End the show.
You studied the body. You should know not to crunch the dice. AJ, you're right. In the show, this was a major blow to the stop the crunch movement.
I'm just gonna hit this button right here. We're gonna.
It's over.
Just gonna do a hard smash cut.
This was a hard loss today.
That is.
No, Danny, no.
Crunch for the cause.
Oh god, we still have B-Dave, y'all. We still got B-Dave. Oh, never meet your heroes. All right.
They always let you down.
God damn it. Himbo's crunch for the cause. God damn it.
That would be a good charity scream. Crunch for the cure.
Oh yeah.
No.
The ideas are coming out.
No. I was very anti-crunch with these guests. I'm just saying, Callie,
being influenced.
Don't do this. Don't you leave us. We need you. God damn it. We've got to take that. We've got to take our season posters of all the guests, and we got to put a stamp on them for if they're crunch
or no crunch.
Crunch crew or stop the crunch. Oh, all right. that broke my heart. The next question that we ask every guest is if you could play a TTRPG with any 5. Oh, you put it in the chat. Disgusting. So you can play a TTRPG with any 5 people that are alive right now in the world. Anyone. Like, you know, one of my 5 was like Cardi B and Michelle Obama. And you can choose who the GM is. Who would you play with?
Wow. Ooh.
Any
Okay.
5.
Any 5. In any tabletop RPG.
Any game of your choice.
Any
you
game
get
of
to
my
choose who's
choice.
the GM.
Wow.
Or the MC or the DM. Or
Oof.
the ST.
I
Got
think
all these names.
I think it would be cool to have like maybe someone from a different genre of life. So I would probably say like Elvira, the Mistress of the Dark. I think like I just want to hear how these people play, like what goes on in your minds. So I'd probably have like Elvira at the table just to see how she does things. But then like on the flip side, maybe someone like Shania Twain, where they're from a different walk of life. And it'd be really cool to have someone that maybe doesn't know what tabletop RPGs are. I would think I would like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at my table, for just to stare at them and see how they roll the dice. The one of my favorite actors, also have a crush on him. What is his name?
What's he in?
He's in This Is Us.
Oh, is it the guy who played Peter Petrelli on Heroes?
I didn't watch Heroes. Oops. Sterling K. Brown, one of my favorite actors.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
I would love Sterling K. Brown at the table just because his voice. I mean, maybe he might be the GM. I feel like he could get into some very emotional and intense things.
Yeah.
So that was 3 so far. I feel like I want someone that's just like one of like maybe Patrick Stump, who is the lead singer of Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Because of his lyricism, and I would like to know, like they're one of my favorite bands and stuff. So I wonder how that would translate into tabletop.
I'm trying not to do like my shitty Patrick Stump impression.
Please do.
There's a light on in Chicago, and I know I should be home.
Seriously, can you imagine a campaign just based off of that album? Like, I don't know.
Oh my god, that would be fucking sick.
It'd just be like out of heartbreak and angst.
I love Fall Out Boy so goddamn. Dance is still like my hype too.
It's a good song.
I have a Fall Out Boy tattoo, so
yes.
Yes. And then my last one would just be like if I could just hop at the table and have everybody kind of know the rules, it would probably be my mom and my dad.
That'd be awesome.
Because I think they're immigrants. They've never really played tabletop games, but I know they have some bonkers stories that they could pull from. And it's just like, I would love to not have that learning curve, and for them to just get into it and be okay with telling their stories from the other side of the dice. So
I like that.
Yeah.
You made me want to change my 5. Because I feel like you have half of a set at your table and I need it to be complete. So I'm gonna go Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and Dolly Parton. I feel like you gotta have them together.
Damn, maybe I'll get Dolly instead of Shania. I don't know.
Shania's iconic though, but at the same time,
yeah,
I want them in a buddy cop movie so fucking bad. You don't understand how badly I want a buddy cop movie with Elvira playing like a psychic detective or some shit, and like Dolly Parton is like a grizzled veteran cop who's like on her last mission, and they gotta partner up for some supernatural spooky case.
That sounds amazing, actually. Who do we need to pitch this to?
I want that movie in my veins right now. I just want to watch Elvira and Dolly Parton back to back with guns. And I don't know why, but I want the bad guy to be Rob Zombie. I want to see where they shoot Rob Zombie.
Are Dolly Parton and Elvira the same person but palette swapped?
Okay, so this is what it is. Dolly Parton, Paladin, Elvira, Warlock.
Ooh.
Both charisma casters.
Exactly. That's why we love them so much, but it's different sides of the fence there.
Are they both Bard multi-class though?
Dolly for sure.
For sure, yeah. I would say, okay, here's what we're doing. Dolly is Paladin Bard. Elvira is Warlock Sorcerer.
I was about to say Warlock, yeah. Warlock Sorcerer.
Sorcelock?
Sorcelock.
The two best multi-class. And I'll fight anybody who disagrees.
The power of them together.
Oh my God, that would be so... And I want Lil Nas X in the movie as like the rookie cop. That's always like at the scene too late.
Just showing up like...
Better watch next time, rookie.
Right.
Why
Lil
will
Nas X would
Hollywood
also be
give
awesome.
me billions to make this?
What would Elvira's bloodline be? Shadow?
She's just a mistress of the dark, so yeah.
I know. I feel like it has to be, but it could be something like completely what. But she discovers later down the road.
Well, let's see. We've got, because there are two things to consider with Elvira: the bloodline and the patron.
Ooh.
All right, so we're fucking making a stat line for Dolly Parton and Elvira. We're just fucking doing it now.
Well, I mean, we all know that Dolly Parton can help cure disease.
Oh yeah.
Because she did donate money.
Is she a Moderna mommy?
Moderna, yeah. I got 2 shots of that Dolly juice.
Same.
Running through my veins.
Yeah, I got Dolly juice in my veins, baby.
Got that Dolly sauce.
Who plays the commissioner?
Plays the commissioner?
Patrick Stewart?
No, J.K. Simmons, because he's got to be in everything. Patrick Stewart is the eccentric billionaire that's funding Rob Zombie. He's got to be the villain.
Not the villain.
I'm sorry. Patrick's got to be the villain. Him and his boyfriend, Ian McKellen, because I love those two together. Why won't Hollywood give me billions to make this?
I mean,
it sells itself.
Danny Glover.
Donald Glover will be Lil Nas X's
Donald
partner.
Stretch.
I just popped my back too.
I'm pippa popping.
Oh, that felt good. I don't even know what it would be called, but I just know that this. Look, how many Spider-Men are we gonna get? Can we just get one? We're running out of time. We are running out of time, and Betty White's got to be in the movie somehow,
somewhere.
You know what? I know exactly what it is. Betty White is the weapons dealer that Dolly Parton and Elvira go to when they're kicked off the case, but they still need to handle business because they're the only ones that can solve it. So they go to their old friend Betty White, who's a criminal, but they have that like respect with the cops where it's just like, I'll turn a blind eye to your shenanigans, but I need guns. And Betty White's just like, bet. She just pulls out all like the blickies.
I think like I want to find like it's like this homey kind of like old apartment, and there's this trunk that is being used as a coffee table with like this fresh, nicely knitted Afghan on it, and then the Afghan gets pulled off, and the trunk gets opened up, and it's just nothing but weaponry.
And after Elvira and Dolly Parton get their guns, they look at Betty and just go, "Thank you for being a friend." Give me money. I'm ready to write the script.
Missed by a hair? Nah, I don't know. We'll workshop this title.
I'm so sorry. We've got a fucking fantastic guest, and I'm just fucking filling the airtime.
I mean,
this ridiculous movie concept that needs to happen.
Ridiculous or brilliant or both?
It's. I mean,
it works.
Could you imagine Elvira and Dolly Parton doing the choreography from like a John Wick? Just fucking going ham on
barrel roll back to back.
Kung Fu.
Fucking Black Widow spider leg grab with the legs flipping them and shoot them in the fucking head. Like, okay, we get the Expendables, which is just all these old dudes, all these old action heroes, just being old action heroes. You can't tell me Hollywood can't spare one Elvira and Dolly Parton action movie. We can't get one. Life ain't fair.
Okay, so that's a good, I think Nightmare in Dollywood is a good, like, subtitle.
That's a good
It's a strong contender. There's got to be like
something right before it.
Yeah, right before it. It's got to be like something : Nightmare in Dollywood.
Lauren Danger goes Double Trouble, so I like Double Trouble, Nightmare in Dollywood. I'm a simple guy. I think that works. I'm sorry, I'm imagining all the scenes of John Wick, but my mind is replacing it with Dolly Parton.
Replacing Keanu with Dolly
Parton. Double trouble.
I don't know how to say it.
I was gonna say that there has to be a double D pun in there somewhere.
Yeah. I typed it out so that I could see it, but I don't know if I like double D drubble. Double D drubble? I don't know.
Double dribble. Captions picked up double dribble. Okay. So, do we want to... we'll steer this conversation back.
I'm really trying to.
I know.
I'm really trying.
I know, your ADHD is hyperfixating.
I'm like, Morgan Freeman's gotta be in here somewhere.
So, Danny.
Yes.
You've played with like a lot of people, cool people in this space.
Oh, yeah.
Who's on your bucket list of people you want to play with?
Oh, bucket list.
In the community.
This might be a cop-out answer, but honestly, I like playing with people that I don't necessarily know, but maybe they're adjacent. So they've kind of passed the vibe check. We know they're not, they understand safety tools and stuff. But I think those are some of my best experiences at the table, where I don't have preconceived notions. I've never seen them really like play before, just because it really helps me out of not overthinking things and trying to show out or anything. So a perfect example was I was friends with Honey of Honey and Dice, and they invited me to play a game of Harlem Unbound with Abria and CB. And I was still relatively new into the space. So I knew of CB and I've seen Abria around, but I'd never like watched them play before. And that was probably one of the coolest experiences because I was relatively new into the space and I got to role play and play games with them and raise money and all that good stuff and tell stories. And then from there, I got to deep dive into their work after we played. And it's just so cool to learn people's crafts without having any preconceived notions. So I don't know if I have bucket list people in the fact that like I think the idea that everybody really has a cool point of view or a different point of view that you might never have thought of, be it from their past experiences or their creative minds. So and then the other kind of wash answer is like I would love to play a long-term campaign with both of y'all's.
Oh,
I think we could tell some really funny stories together.
Hell yeah. I've been wanting to play a long campaign as a player for a while now, so hell yeah. I do have to say I have a dream game that I would love to see you in, which is I want the Muscle Squad to fucking play. I want to see you, Travis, Joe
Manganiello.
I can't say like that's a running gag on the show that I can't. I love him. I love him to death.
Joey Megs. Joey Megs.
We'll never get him on this show.
No. There's no way you'll ever be able to pronounce his name.
And everybody, today's guest, Joe. But I want to see you, Travis Willingham, Joe, and like that same squad, like all these buff dudes like, playing D&D.
Tall Squall? Throw Tall Squall into the mix?
Oh, absolutely. Tall Squall. That is gorgeous, man.
And Jay's a fantastic GM, too.
Oh, absolutely. But I would love to see that.
Iffy?
Oh, Iffy dick. Yeah.
I stumbled onto a thirst trap of Iffies on TikTok yesterday, and I'm like,
Iffy is 100,000% the reason that I'm being a lot more open with my thirst. That's inspiration. But yeah, I would love to see that game. I think that would be a huge draw. That would be a fantastic charity game. And you're all talented at the table, and you're such inspirational figures, especially in terms of like just body confidence. Like I, for one, like again, like your videos got me into the gym. I exposed myself. But I would love to see just that many inspirational and dope, amazing players all in one spot, telling dope himbo stories. Like that would be the grand table of himbos, right?
That would be really cool.
So to pivot the question, instead of a like dream like people that you want to play with as like a bucket list table, is there a specific game that you want to play that you haven't yet?
Yeah, so
Noir, you can answer that too if you like.
So my very when I kind of deep dove into tabletop RPG, I wasn't aware of how many cool like indie games that there were, and indie systems, I should say. And I just kind of assumed that, I mean, D&D is like up there when it comes to the notoriety and stuff. But as I kind of keep diving into these smaller, maybe more story focused, less dice driven games, it's just I'm still learning like all these different systems. But I don't think have I had a long-term Urban Shadows game? I might have only done like a one shot, or even like the simplified quest system. I think I've done a one shot of that too. So there's a lot. Harlem Unbound was a really cool system set in Call of Cthulhu. Um, all those different systems that kind of have these, more story focused driven settings, or from a different perspective. I think that would be really cool. But so if anything that I just said resonates with either of y'all and y'all have Rex, let me know.
Yeah, Urban Shadows 2.0 is on the way, and I am dying for that to come out. Like I want that system in my hands right now.
I've been wanting to play Alice is Missing for a while.
I have it, but I haven't opened it if y'all want to play.
Yeah, I've got it on Roll20, and
it's all quiet. You don't talk. You just text. And
you don't talk. You just cry.
You just cry. I think it would be a good game to do like as a. I mean, there's a little bit of replayability with it, but it is definitely one of those games where like it's like a 2-hour session, and then you cry about your feelings afterwards. There's a Discord bot for it?
Yep.
Heck yeah.
And it handles the playlist, because really the music is what gets you, and it's along with a lot of what's happening. I can't recommend that game enough. I was fortunate enough to play with Spencer, the creator of the game, who was beta testing a few new scenarios, and just I bawled like a fucking baby.
It's one of those ones that's definitely like emotional bleed, and you might have to like do check-ins to make sure everybody is okay afterwards and before.
Well, that's actually built into the game, which is making sure that you're okay is a part of the system. So just to give a quick rundown that nobody asked for about Alice is Missing. You take the roles of people that are in Alice's life. You could be like her brother, you could be like, her secret partner, her friend, that kind of stuff. And at the start of the game, you get a secret that Alice shared with you that nobody else knows, right? And you get the perspective of the role that you play. Like if you're her brother, you might be protective, so on and so forth. And you start the game by leaving her a voicemail. And the way that this is done is that everybody records a message at the very start of the game. And then you play the game, and at different time points, there are scenarios that come up like, somebody found something of Alice's at the carnival. And keep in mind, she's been missing. So it's like, this could be a good thing, this could be a bad thing, but it's basically how you react to it. And then after like so many different scenarios, the last scenario is like, you either find her, you don't, or other. And it could be heavy. And then at the end of that, you play the voicemails from the beginning. And it's just, sometimes it can tear your fucking heart out. It's just like, God. So yeah, I highly recommend this game. It is just, ooh.
I think late night at a con one of these times in the if we ever get to a post-pandemic time, I want to do a game of 10 Candles.
Never
what is that?
Heard of that one.
So 10 Candles is a horror game. The world has gone dark, and you are a group of the last people remaining that you know of. And at the beginning of the game, you light 10 tea light candles. And it's one of those games where it encourages you to burn portions of your character sheet. So you need like a safe place with like fireproof stuff. You're at certain points, like different candles will go out at different times. And so eventually you are playing in the dark. And by the time the last candle is out, everybody is
Dunzo.
Dunzo.
Ooh, that's a cool system.
That, but I want to win. No, I'm kidding. How do I win this game?
I mean, you could set randomized timers for with electric tea lights, but yeah, there's a lot of collaborative storytelling. Players have a lot of input, and you're just trying, and as the candles go out, eventually your players will go one by one.
I love that physical burning of character sheets, or that symbolism of
you don't win, you just lose less.
That's true.
But yeah, the whole physical symbolism of burning portions of your character sheet, as sacrificing little bits of your humanity to have to survive this, or
how do I min-max the candle?
I mean, I've got so many electric tea lights, battery powered tea lights left over from parties and stuff.
Oh. We should probably hit a break soon. I'm not sure exactly when you need to dip, but before we go on break, because we're gonna have our dark roast on the other side of this, I do want to ask one question, which is, have you ever played Cards Against Humanity with somebody and realized they're a terrible person?
Yes.
Yes, and anybody that recommends it, I use it as a point of education of, we should not be playing this game. Let's play other games that I have recommendations for.
I've had so many people expose themselves with that game that I kind of just, whenever somebody suggests playing it, I'm like, okay, let's see who you are.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't we just play apples to apples? If y'all need this type of humor to be funny, probably not that funny.
Yeah, Apples to Apples is a very similar game. It's just not as weird or edgy. And there's a lot of variants of Cards Against Humanity that people have made, homebrew ones, and those are sketchy too.
Well, I mean, Cards Against Humanity has blank cards. And that's where people really expose themselves.
There's only one Cards Against Humanity card that I like.
Okay.
It's in the Canadian edition, and it's an icy hand job from an Edmonton hooker.
Not an icy hand job.
All right, so we're going on break, y'all. I can't transition past that. So we'll call it a smooth 5-10, and then we'll be back with the dark roast
for sure
and the that guy segment. So we'll see you on the other side, y'all.
All right, see you in a bit. And we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hey, we're back. We did it successfully.
We did. Task failed successfully.
No tech issues during the break. Woo!
That we know.
I was terrified that was actually going to happen. No lie. But now we are on the second half of the show, commonly referred to as the dark roast, where we get into more serious topics and inevitably hit the that guy section of our show. So I have to ask, what has been the most challenging aspect of jumping into the scene, or of coming into this space?
Ooh, I would say not necessarily finding people to play with, but finding people that you're comfortable saying I don't understand, or having that comfortability where it's hey, I'm new to the system. Can we break the role play so that you can explain to me what type of roles or what's considered success or whatever? Because I'm one of those people that I love playing different systems and I love learning and I do my best, but sometimes during a session, I don't understand what's going on. So finding those people that you feel comfortable enough to just say, hey, I don't I don't really get this. Can we talk about it? And just being, I guess, being vulnerable to say like, I'm a newbie. Can you help me out? Because I feel like a lot of times when we do watch actual plays and things like that, it's everybody is just very good at what they do, and you don't want to feel like the weak link.
Yeah.
So it maybe just getting over that hump of like, it's okay to say you're new because there's new players that are getting into this hobby every day. And I think it's okay to be like, yeah, I've been playing RPGs for X amount of years and I still have questions. That doesn't make me any less a part of the community.
Yeah. I know I for one want to normalize people not knowing the rules. Like I feel like it's not even secondary. It's like it's to me, and this is where it would be considered a hot take to some of the old guard. I think mastering the rules is optional. I have no problem shepherding my players through the system because I feel like that's kind of my responsibility as a GM, and that's a personal choice, having it be my responsibility. Everybody GMs differently, but I think the primary responsibility of PCs is to tell a story, and as long as you can do that, don't worry about the mechanics. I got that bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I absolutely understand that.
Yeah. It's very comforting hearing that, because again, from the outside looking in, like you hear about the crunch of different games and how in depth it can be, and that can be intimidating. But
Right.
if it's set in a cool setting and you want to explore that setting or you want to explore that system, it should be okay to, you know, ask those questions or flub up rules. Like, I know that's a huge thing, like homebrews and house rules, like when does it become not the system anymore or whatever. But it's just like, yeah, we can have those conversations if we're selling the game or we're, you know, the creator of the game. But as players, I think it's okay to just tell the story, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I truly enjoy seeing new people realize that there is a space for them there, and there's nothing more infuriating than seeing somebody snuff the love of TTRPG out of somebody with rules. Like I can't describe how upset that makes me. Where it's just like, you can't do that because of page 192, and it's just like, if you don't shut the fuck up and let this baby bird fly.
Yeah, I remember playing one game. It was a home game, and I wanted to use Mage Hand to move. It was to move something, and maybe like a barrel or something, because zombies were trying to break in. And the GM was like, "Oh, you can't do that." And I'm like, "Why?" And
it's more than 5 pounds.
Exactly. And I was just like, "Well, how do you know? Like, is that...
Do you have this
like,
specific way noted?
Yeah, I was like, "How do you know the barrel wasn't empty or whatever?" And he's like, "Well, maybe it's not." And I was like, "Okay, so can I move it?" He's like, "Well, I mean, with the metal and all that on the barrel." And I was just like, "Okay, then I will try something else, but maybe we'll talk about the barrel after the game, because I'm pretty sure my mage hands can roll a barrel or push it or something." I don't know. So that was like, yeah, that's like an example of just kind of like, what, like, was I spoiling the plan of the GM? It's definitely something that we should be able to have a conversation about, but it's like, why was it so quickly shot down that I could not move a barrel in front of a door? It's like, okay, whatever.
You know, and one of my things is, as a GM, I don't like no being a complete sentence. I like no being if I say no, I like to give options, which is like, okay, so you can't pick up the barrel, but I don't see any reason why you can't roll the barrel. Or, you know, you can't, if the barrel, is light enough for you to move it, but it won't be heavy enough to barricade the door. But you can also use your mage hand to like fill the barrel up with stuff. It's just like, let's give options and not just shoot somebody down. You know?
Yeah. I love the idea of just like if I was really like intensely wanting to move that barrel, I would have loved, like you said, to have the GM say like, okay, well, at least describe to me what this would look like. And even if you can't move it, like what does it look like you trying to move this?
Try.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just like, nope, barrel's too heavy. And I was just like, but it was almost like, it felt like almost like a gotcha moment. Like maybe they knew that I was gonna try to move the barrel and they were like, nope, you can't do it with the mage hand. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. And Nikki says that it feels like a player versus GM kind of situation where the GM feels like the rules exist to keep you from winning.
Yeah.
And
never a hard no, always a no, but.
Yeah. I understand that there has to be rules, and obviously, I mean, it's whatever. So, like I said, it could have been a conversation that we had after the game to try to see like what happened, like if I overstepped, if I was doing too much. But yeah, it was just one of those things where I was just like, let me move the goddamn barrel.
I think that's why Stars and Wishes is such an important safety tool in this hobby, because it's a very safe way to, you know, basically review a session. Like, here's stuff that I love. Here's stuff that the next time it occurs, let's try and find another way to work this through.
Yeah.
I mean, because I have had sessions that suck, where it's just like, you know, the session ends and we're all feeling a little icky. Like, well, that didn't go well. And that's gonna happen the more of these games you play. But you gotta improve and make sure that everybody has a good time.
Yeah, I love Stars and Wishes, and that's something that is relatively recent to me. There were a few games that we got to do that, and I think it's important for the players too, because you get to compliment the table. You get to say what really resonated with you, and it feels good to hear when someone's like, you know, like, it was really cool when you did this, and I appreciate that moment. And I think that's important when it comes to building trust, building community, you know, shouting out your fellow players, because especially, I mean, if it's a live stream thing and you're in the moment and you're not able to connect, I think that's kind of that moment where you can connect with the table without being on or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I think it's very powerful because it shows you things that you might have just overlooked. Like, empathy is one of those things. It's an active skill, and sometimes like you can just not have it on and not even realize it, and so you may inadvertently hurt somebody's feelings. You may inadvertently have just made somebody feel small by virtue of just not noticing them. And it's a great tool to help rectify that, so that the game doesn't continue on and there's growing bitterness and resentment, because that can kill a table. I've been at tables where people just don't talk outside of playing the game, and then, you know, feelings start to build up, and then nobody expresses it until just boom. And you know, and one side
in game, and it's
and it's just like, oh fuck. You know, and it's just like one party is just like, where the fuck is this coming from? And the other party is just like, how did you not see this coming? So yeah, Stars and Wishes is a great tool to protect the longevity of your table. I can't recommend it enough, and I've learned a lot about myself, and a lot of the tendencies I have as a GM that you know, there's a lot that I got to get better at, you know.
Yeah. And I starting to play tabletop RPGs more, and seeing all these safety systems in place, I started brainstorming. So this is an inside look into maybe a potential project, but I've been reiterating the idea to take safety systems and put them into board gaming. Because especially with the heavier strategic games where you're investing 2 or 3 hours in them, there's going to be points in the game where you might have to do something that fucks somebody else up. Yeah. So I've been thinking of being able to have conversations before and after you play the game, and that way you can talk about it. That way you're not just fuming at the end when something bad happens, or you can compliment like, that was a really cool move. I learned that you could do this, or that was a cool strategic move, and you could talk more about strategy or how you felt during the theming of the game and things like that. So I've been trying to formulate like an idea, and I have all these notes on my phone, and I'm just like, what's the best way to implement this? Because I think it'd be important for those that might need it.
Yeah, I know I've played a few games of Monopoly that really could have benefited with some safety tools. Maybe I would have told my grandma to go fuck herself. Some things you can't take back. Sorry, Nana. Took Baltic Avenue from me, you cold-hearted.
The heated Monopoly. Yeah.
I played games of Uno that could have benefited from safety tools. You can only get hit with so many draw fours before you just want to kill everybody.
At a certain point, it feels personal.
Right. It is personal. They know what they're doing. You reverse just to hit me with a draw four. I'm gonna fucking murder you and your children.
It's like, no.
Fuck you, Nana. You know I can't pay rent on that hotel.
Nana's actively trying to bankrupt you. Cool.
No, I also am fascinated with safety tools. And, you know, I've got a project of my own where I think I'm making trading cards of the X and O systems. Because I think they're a fun collectible to have, and they're practical and useful at the table. Yeah. So it's just like, you know, having your favorite game represented on an X and O card, like a trading card, or your favorite character, and it's an O and an X and whatever. I think making these safety tools more accessible, more fun, collectibles, and all that kind of stuff, I think that's the way to go, to normalize it. Mm-hmm. And I think that safety tools have become so prominent in the space that they're effective even if they're not being employed. And what I mean by that is that I'm sure we've all seen like a Twitter comment or a forum where somebody is basically laughing at safety tools, like making fun of it. Like, that's a safety tool working without it even being employed, because you know,
I don't want to play.
I don't want to play with you.
Exactly. You are not a safe person to have at my table. Cool. Great.
They're like, oh, we need seat belts for tabletop games now. Oh, thank you for letting me know you're an asshole.
Thank you for doing that.
Off riff. I would have played a game with you. Holy shit.
It's the vetting via controversial opinion.
Yeah, right.
We've come full circle.
Hey.
Aw, you're adorable, Block.
You know what? I think that's a perfect transition to the That Guy segment. Now, if you've been in the TTRPG community long enough, you've probably had the displeasure of playing with a That Guy. A That Guy is somebody who, if they were yeeted into the sun, your experience at the table would increase tenfold. They live to suck the fun from the table. Now, we've been doing this since season 1, and we've had That Guys as annoying as the railroading GM or the GM versus player GM, and we've had That Guys as notorious as the biter gaslighter, which was that guy that invited somebody over to help them create a character, bit them on the neck, and then pretended that didn't happen, and also all the advice they gave for character creation was wrong. So So, Danny, the internet's himbo, have you played with That Guy?
Yeah. So one of something that sticks out is I understand that tabletop RPGs can be very excitable, but I've played at a couple tables where a player always speaks over another player and never gives a breath to somebody else, and they always want to be involved. And even if the party splits off, I think at one point they wanted to like teleport into the scene and say something, and it was just like, what? Like, why? Like, just because you're quiet right now doesn't mean you're not involved. And it's very frustrating because you don't want to take away that excitement from them, but then you can see and feel the other people at the table not being able to say what they want or feeling like they're being spoken over, and it's very frustrating, especially if you call it out after the game or whatever and they take offense to it, and then they're like, well, I won't say anything at all. And it's like, no, we don't want you to not say anything, we just want other people to say things too.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I call that the main character syndrome. Like, like, how can a scene be going on if I'm not in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've dealt with that. I've actually overcome the main character syndrome. I used to suffer from that a little bit, not gonna lie. Every now and then I still need to be reminded, like, hey, you're not there. I'm like, you know what? Right, my bad. I'm shut up. But yeah, I've definitely experienced that. And that sucks. I'm glad that you made it out that game. Hopefully you're not still in that game with that person.
Yeah, there's too many good rooms to stay like in a space where you don't feel heard or you're just annoyed. Like sorry, it's just like I don't want to put myself through that emotional turmoil. Like.
That's the thing. Life is too short to sit at a bad table.
Exactly. Like,
I could have used that advice so long ago. Games that lasted years. Years. Anyway, and there's nothing wrong with being somebody that's excited and that loves to talk. But I think the problem comes when you can't take the criticism.
Yeah.
I think the problem comes when people go, hey, tone it down. And you're like, well, fuck you. Like, no, that's when you become a bad guy.
Yeah. I think having that the gentle call up, being like, hey, there's someone else would like to do something now. We'll get back to you. I think it helps because it's less just a quick. Because Noir and I both GM for Magpie for part of the curated play program, and one of the things that they tell you when you're dealing with a problem player is like a quick message to like tell them like, okay, here you might want to curb this behavior, then a call out of the table, and then a kick. It's like a 3-strike rule.
Yeah. It is important to talk about, and pulling from board gaming, when you're playing a cooperative game, we call it quarterbacking, where if it's not your turn and someone's just thinking about what they want to do, and then all of a sudden they're like, I think you should do this and this and this because it is the most strategic and it'll put us at the best spot. And it's just kind of like, well, like, are you going to tell people how to play? Because you could be playing this solo if you wanted to, or you can see how other people think. And even if it's not the most optimal move, we could tell a funny story or something. So a lot of times it comes with that crunching or feeling, I think people like to feel, like you said, the main character, they want to feel involved. They want to feel like, oh, this is the best case scenario. And it's kind of like, well, it doesn't always have to be best case scenario. It's just how someone going to play the game.
Yeah, as long as you're having fun, what's the harm?
Exactly.
Yeah. I do have to. This is a new part of the bad guy that I just want to introduce here, which is, doesn't it feel good when you like get rid of the bad guy, like at the table? Like, isn't like I'm not one for like saying like remove people from your life, but I'm just saying when that toxic element is gone for the first time and you're all at the table and like you're playing and you come up to a point where you know that toxic element would probably be in effect, and it's just not.
And you're like, wow, this is what it could have been like.
You just feel lighter.
Yeah.
Like your soul is healed in that moment.
I've had so many moments where it's just like, I'm having fun. And I don't it's not going to be stopped for no reason.
It's so true.
I take that and I hold on to it. And it's just like, yeah, sometimes getting rid of negative shit in your life is the only way forward. Man, Rashad like, nah, remove people from your life. So many millions of people in the world that one doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this. I'm the kind of person that I want to try and help people be better, because I remember when I was a shit, like I was a really like not awesome guy for a portion of my life. And I had people who had the spoons and they were just like, okay, here's where you fuck it up. And I remember that. And so like, you know, I will always try my best to educate before I'm just like, all right, you're the fuck out of here. Because like somebody extended that courtesy to me. So it's like you pay it forward as best you can. Some people aren't in a space where they're ready to learn though. So, you know.
And that's the thing is you gotta figure out that where the point is where it's they can grow, but they don't have to grow here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I've had that happen a few times, and it's always hard because, you know, dealing with conflict is hard.
It is. It's uncomfortable, but
it's necessary. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, people are very much like fucking gardens. You got to get rid of the weeds sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of work that nobody wants to do. But
the flower needs to move to a different portion with more shade and better soil.
Yep. So
that's very true.
You can transplant it to someone else's garden.
Get that fucking flower out of here. That's gonna be my code word for removing negative people out of my life. Get that fucking flower out of here. Yeah. I love you and I see the beauty.
It's time for a transplant.
In the wrong garden.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not expecting that, like, to have that grace to have people explaining everything to you. Like, it has to be a two-way street. Like, you're gonna have to try to educate yourself too. Yeah. Not everybody's gonna be able to have a Nora at the table or an Anita at the table that's nice enough to explain everything.
Sometimes you just gotta get the weed burner and flamethrower for the flower.
Yikes. I mean, that's valid too.
You know, hey, we're all at different levels of patience, and it's understandable. I've got the spoons to maybe not pick up the flamethrower, but I totally respect people who pull out the flamethrower. But I mean, I one of the things that I am appreciative of the TTRPG community for is that it's taught me how to deal with conflicts, and I've applied that to my personal life. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, there's just so much that this community has done, and being able to meet the cool people that make the community what it is has been a fucking pleasure. But yeah, it's we still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I made a thread the other day just kind of talking about the difference between the board gaming community and the tabletop RPG community, and it's the fact that, like, in tabletop you're more able to interact and talk to different people that collaborate much wider in the greater scheme of things than it is with board gaming, because board gamers only want to collaborate with other board gamers. There's no room for newbies to come in and say, I want to be a part of this. And I've seen so many times where you can see tables that might have somebody with a lot of influence and a lot of followers versus someone that's new to the table. And once that game starts, it's on equal footing. And that's so refreshing to see. And I've been trying to rack my brain on, like, in board game content creation, how do we get that type of accessibility for new content creators? Because it's so hard, because I don't know why. I mean, the barrier to entry, maybe like less rules, more storytelling compared to like rules heavy games where you have to be like a super hardcore gamer to know all the rules. But
right,
it's just something that I've noticed, and I'm just like, how do we get that type of vibe where it's like you feel comfortable collaborating with people that you look up to?
I would love to see more actual plays of some board games for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the advantage that the TTRPG community has, because there's so many people putting content out of these RPGs that there's always room at a table.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that table will have like somebody with like a huge following and then somebody with like no following, and through that show, that's how somebody begins to slowly build their platform. So
that was literally me.
that was me too. Like, and so like I think that's the secret, is just like demonstrating your skill.
Mm-hmm.
And well, not so much skill, but demonstrating your willingness to tell a story. And I would love to see that. There are some board games that are perfect for that, like the Eldritch Horror series.
Betrayal on House and Hill.
Yeah. You diplomacy. I mean, if you want to see people learn to hate each other, but I was today years old when I heard there's AP board game content out there.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's actually, I think, a whole section of it on Twitch too.
Yeah.
A lot of white dudes. A lot of white
exactly.
dudes.
That's the problem.
That's
a lot
the
of
other
white guys that came over from YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of the barrier for entry too for a lot of marginalized folks, especially in board gaming. Is there's a lot of white guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of the board gaming APs that I've seen have been in studio with people who actually played the board game proper, which is another barrier of entry that like Dungeons and Dragons doesn't have. Like, all I need is a character sheet and die, and then we can roll 20 it. So
exactly.
I personally, I would love to see the board game community kind of expand. There's several board games out there that I am just a huge fan of that I would just like. I at Gen Con I played Return to Dark Tower, and I cannot wait to play that again. Like,
is that one going to be a Kickstarter? It was from Restoration Games, right?
Yes,
it's Restoration Games.
Already kickstarted.
It's already been kickstarted. There's been a delay in their shipment because there's been a delay in everybody's shipment because it's the apocalypse. But the slowest, most boring apocalypse ever, but it is the apocalypse.
And I think also, like, what was he also saying is, like, the reason why they can't get so many out to their backers is because literally the factory can only produce like a really low number of units a day.
Yeah, because
with a tower like that.
That tower is wild. That tower, and it's an ominous presence in the game, and that's kind of something that you don't get with TTRPG. So yeah, I would love to see the tabletop community expand. I think we need something like a Geek and Sundry again, where it's just like where we need a spot where TTRPGs and board games meet.
Exactly.
And there's a hole in the space that needs to be filled. So
I mean, can you imagine can you imagine like the idea of an actual play with people okay with role playing, and then having a board game that you get to cosplay for, and you pretty much, instead of like playing the game super strategically or whatever, you're role playing as a character, playing that game and telling a story while you're playing that board game. So if it's a Viking themed board game, you might not make the biggest move where you can score the most points, but you're telling that story. I feel like that would be so entertaining to watch, where people are role playing the actual game rather than trying to min-max everything. So kind of like you said, that merge somehow of, I don't know, like every episode is a different game. Like if you're playing Betrayal, like that could be a long-term thing. Like that would be so cool.
If you're playing something like Small World, you can be like the leader of the skeleton armies.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody dresses up as their faction or whatever. And like you can role play, maybe even, throw in some die in there to see if you successfully make that move or not. I don't know. I just think it'd be really cool to have a high production of role playing crossover with board games, and it could be a mini series or something.
I would love an Urban Shadows Betrayal Betrayal crossover. Yeah. I think that would be fantastic. There are so many elements of that game that already kind of merge, where it's just like, fuck yeah, and nobody knows going in who the betrayer is.
Yeah.
So it's just like you build up like maybe 3 or 4 sessions of an Urban Shadows game where these people get to know each other, and then you take them to the house for some reason.
Yeah.
And then
the big reveal.
That would be so cool.
That would be so cool. That would be so freaking cool. Oh no. Oh no, now my wheels are turning. Why? I don't have Betrayal.
Don't worry, I do.
I've got Betrayal and I've got Tabletop Simulator, and you can play Betrayal on Tabletop Simulator.
I have Tabletop Simulator too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's actually very
And I've got the quick start for Urban Shadows.
An RP of Clue.
Yeah, right? That'd be so fun.
That would be so fucking cool. Flames on the side of my face.
Flames.
I finished the Honey Heist with the board game Shadows in the Forest, which you play in the dark. They are running in the forest to keep Frosty the soul eating man.
Not the Frosty the soul man.
Frosty the soul
eating man.
I love that.
Oh, yeah, that would
Shadows
be...
in the Forest is such a cool game too. It's another one of those games that you play in the dark.
Yeah.
You like move your little people, and your whole thing is to like try and get them to stay in the shadows and get all your people together. But their masks get stolen if the light hits them, and there's 2 win conditions. Someone can win by having all the masks, or they can win by getting everybody back together.
Yeah.
Low key, I'm still thinking about this urban shit. Like, I'm hyper fixated. Like,
I mean, Halloween is coming up. Could we put something together quick for that? Numenera, but or like a political like intrigue game, and then smash it together with coup.
Yeah, I got a special relationship with coup.
It'll get you heated.
Okay, so I played coup with an ex of mine, and I could never win, and I'm like, that's weird. And that's the ex that turned out to cheat on me, and I was like, coup was trying to tell me, and I didn't listen. So.
Yes, you are. You're playing in my Crossroads Carnival game on the 31st, my Halloween game.
Ooh.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Coup is another one of those needs safety tools games.
Exactly, yeah.
Make sure you know what game I have, but I've never played and I desperately want to? Resistance.
Yeah, it's another social deduction game. Yeah, exactly. But you have missions instead. So there's a lot more table talk compared to table talk in the fact that like you're actively affecting the missions rather than just like yelling and telling other people that they're a liar.
Like I want to play Resistance online. Like I don't know how, but I want to figure it out.
There has to be a mod on Tabletop Simulator or something.
Any of those games, like Werewolf or any of those games, you can play through Zoom. You just have the moderator. It just PMs people what their roles are through the Zoom chat.
Yeah.
Or you can do the close your eyes, open your eyes through Zoom chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we might have some new content coming on this channel because
these are good ideas.
Yeah, these are good ideas.
So, how long have you been in the board gaming scene? Because I've always just considered you like a TTRPG force, but like I know that you have your the little pegs with the booties.
The meeples, yeah. The meeple booties. Yeah, I started off with my ex, actually. So we started off because we started creating board game content because we did not see LGBTQ representation in board game content. So we started off making YouTube content, kind of, again, following these, what we thought was the pinnacle of board game content, aka tutorials, whatever. And then from there, that was probably like 5-6 years ago. So I created board game content for over 4 years before I deep dived into the tabletop RPG scene. So then it went from after me and my ex broke up, I still wanted to make board game content. So that's when I was Danny Plays Games, because then I wanted to expand into Twitch streaming and things like that too. And then that's when I started creating TikToks and all that. And then from there, after I got banned from TikTok on my Danny Plays Games, but
wait,
I was
what?
Yeah, this was back in January 2020. So I had like 16K followers, and this was when it was during the election. It was during the raid at the Capitol. So I was making a lot of content calling people out for just BS stuff. Also, there was this one point where this group of white girls was saying that they made a version of Mahjong that was like super hip and like much more whatever. They were pretty much shitting on Mahjong to make like a hipster version of Mahjong and make money off of it. And I made like a huge parody video that went viral. And then I think through all that, I got pretty much hate rated on TikTok, where people started reporting all my videos. Yeah. And then one morning I just woke up and it was like, you're permanently banned. Like I didn't get a this is against community guidelines, this is whatever. It was like, you're banned. And then I went on this like 2-month long like spree of trying to reactivate it and reaching out to TikTok. I had people that worked at TikTok, they were trying to figure it out. I couldn't even download TikTok on my phone because they were like, this device is banned. And the only thing they could say was I had extreme violentism on my page. And I was like, please show me where, please. But people, what I'm assuming, which I could be completely wrong, but people went to just all my videos and reported as extreme violentism because they were
just mass report.
Exactly, mass reported. And it was just
there's a couple of discords that exist just to do that.
It's messed up. So long story short, I wanted everything to be uniform, and now that I couldn't be Danny Plays Games across all my platforms, I just wiped it and became Br00talDan. And that was around the time where I started getting into tabletop RPGs as well. And I never looked back.
I like that. I also love that the response to like being banned for like violence is just like, you know what? Now I'm brutal. I just think there's something so badass about that. Like, you have no idea what you fucking almost.
Yeah, well, Br00talDan was my gamer tag back when in the teenage years where I was like super angsty, and that was my gamer tag for StarCraft and Brood War. And for whatever reason, my Twitch account was always Brutal Dan. So I was Danny Plays Games on all the platforms other than Twitch being Brutal Dan. And then I was just like, you know what? I'll just make everything Brutal Dan. And
Just keep it across the board.
Exactly. So if I ever get banned again, then who knows?
You've already got a username.
Exactly.
That's why I'm hoping I never get banned, because if I go back to my gamer tag from high school, I'm gonna be the evil Pop-Tart.
Not the evil Pop-Tart.
We can't have that. We can't have that.
You can't have the evil Pop-Tart?
No, we can't. I can't do it. I can't be Pop-Tart.
What was the other one?
We're not gonna talk about them.
We have to talk about it now.
I've had a few really unfortunate names, but the evil Pop-Tart is the one that takes the cake.
Well,
Something
honestly,
it's Butter Gang Bandit.
Butter cake?
Butter Gang.
Butter gang.
Butter Gang, because we slick.
Stop. Because you had a tagline and everything. The Butter Gang. But going back to the evil Pop-Tart, I guess the evil Pop-Tart just inherently means that you had an arch nemesis that was the good Pop-Tart. Did you somewhere out there was
The good
Pop-Tart. You're the first person to ask this, and there's actually an answer. No.
Yeah, so now you gotta explain yourself.
My best friend's nickname was Hero Strudel.
Hero Strudel. I knew it.
Hero Strudel and the evil Pop-Tart. That sounds like a hipster band too.
I love that so much.
Hero, not Hero.
Not the sliced meats, Strudel.
Not Hero.
I can't believe you asked that.
That is the first person to ever ask that question.
I always have to ask the important questions.
I remember we was squad.
Honestly, I kind of hope you get banned so that you're gonna have to rebrand as the evil Pop-Tart, and then there's just gonna be a subplot where your buddy creeps up with the Hero Strudel and just crashes your streams or something.
It was four of us. Our fucking Halo clan tag was the Breakfast Boys.
Wait, now you have to tell us who the other two were in your
They were
Breakfast
just
Boys.
Eggy and Toaster, and it was Toaster TLA, like Toaster, like with the AH at the end of it.
Toaster
Eggy,
and Eggy.
Toaster, the evil Pop-Tart, and Hero Strudel.
I love that. I love that so much.
Sidekick Danish.
It was only four of us when we were the Breakfast Boys.
Breakfast Boys. I love it.
The
Minion
deep-
croissant.
The croissant.
Croissant.
Look, we're not bringing back the Breakfast Boys. Stop putting in your application.
We got to.
We have to. I would like to formally apply as Minion croissant.
H. Bear Claw.
Bear Claw.
I'm so breakfast hungry now.
Bring back the hashtag bring back the breakfast boys.
Oh my god, I'm so fucking embarrassed.
I love that this is that we've got a hashtag going.
Honestly, in high school, my first job was at Dunkin' Donuts, and I was known as Dan the Donut Man, so I can just slide right into the Breakfast Boys. Not the bagel barb. Now you're bringing the barbs in this.
Oh. I feel so exposed right now. Wow, I never thought ever talk about the Breakfast Boys again. Okay, sorry. Fucking got flustered.
Look, you have the Breakfast Boys in chat. Like, everybody got a name already. Let's go.
What's your breakfast soda?
What is your breakfast soda?
No.
Benedict baby.
Oh my god, I've got some phone calls to make. Like, to a couple
You will
of
never
old
believe
friends.
this. Yeah.
Y'all will not. Well,
Heavy
So
huevos.
No.
unfortunately, one of the Breakfast Boys is no longer with us.
Oh.
And the other breakfast boy is officially a breakfast girl now.
Oh.
So they found themselves.
The Breakfast Bunch. Y'all are Breakfast Bunch.
Yeah, we're the breakfast bunch.
Mimosa Millie. Mimosa Minion would be good too.
Oh my god. I've got some phone calls to make this. Dude, you gotta leave the show. I can't.
So, Danny, I've got a very loaded and important question for you. What's your favorite board game?
Oh boy.
Fuck you, Bray.
Brunch bitches.
Oof. My favorite board game. I think it has to be a game called Bowser. Bowser wants to talk. It's a game that it's kind of like a next step game. So like you kind of get people in playing party games, and then it's like, oh, it's a game called Raiders of the North Sea. And it's a worker placement game where you're playing Vikings, and there's a mix between like worker placement where you're putting out workers at that spot, you do the thing, but then you can block other people, but it's a shared pool of workers where you're putting things down and then you're pulling things off. So that's a cool little mechanic that's different. And then there's hand management along with it, where you're trying to recruit different Vikings to go into your crew, so then you can go out and start raiding, but then you're raiding to try to get the gold and the iron and livestock, but then sometimes you die while you raid. So then there's like, they call it a point salad game, where there's so many ways to earn points, going through like sending your Vikings off to Valhalla because they died, or getting your military strength up, or going to the Fields of Fame. And there's like a lot of expansions too. So it kind of builds up on itself, where if you like the base game, now we can introduce some new heroes and we can introduce some Jarls that you'll have to face. So that's my personally favorite game. Like, I will never turn down a game of Raiders of the North Sea.
It sounds like Magic mixed with Heroes of Settlers of Catan.
A little bit, yeah. There's less randomness, and there's no like, you don't come in with like your own deck, so everybody is on level playing fields, because you all have like the same, not the same, but you're pulling from the same deck of crew members and stuff.
Okay.
So, but yeah, there is resource management like Catan, but you don't have to roll dice or anything to get those resources. You kind of plan ahead of time to go out and raid these spots.
Have you ever partaken in the drug that is Magic the Gathering?
I have not. So I know myself.
Stay away. Stay away.
Yeah. Any sort of living card game I cannot do, because I know I'm just gonna hyperfixate and just go full force and drop too much money, or try to be the best that no one ever was. So same thing happened with me with like Pokemon cards. Like, I don't know why. I just started trying to collect Pokemon cards, and I was just like, I don't even want to play the game. I just want to complete the set. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life right now?
I need that shiny Charizard.
Exactly.
First thing I ever stole was a shiny Charizard.
Stop.
I'm not kidding. No, but grandma threw it away.
That's why she fucked you up in Monopoly, because you stole the Charizard.
My grandma has been disrespecting me in TTRPG and board games since Lord knows when.
Tell us you're poor without telling us you're poor. I played Magic the Gathering.
I mean, if you want to make sure that your child never does drugs, get them hooked on Magic the Gathering.
There's a reason they call it cardboard cocaine.
Oh my god.
Well, Kind Ranger makes a point. There's a game called Dominion. So there's a lot of these self-contained kind of deck buildery type games.
They already have like the pre-built decks.
Exactly. So you don't ever have to keep buying more cards. You can maybe buy an expansion to change things up, but you don't have to like try to optimize like your deck and have synergy and stuff.
Not the same.
That or Warhammer?
Look, no, okay. So at least with Magic the Gathering, it drains your bank account slowly. Like I got into Warhammer for like one summer. I don't even own a house and I was about to take out a second mortgage. I don't know how that makes sense, but that's where I was in my life.
You're ready to call JG Wentworth for
yeah,
some Warhammer fix?
Yo, I got into it. The lore is really good. And the people at the Gamers Workshop, they know how to talk to you. They log you in like the fucking devil. Like, hey, you want to play a demo game? I'm like, ooh, yeah, I love
come check it out.
They're like, okay. Then you play the demo game. I'm like, man, that was fun. They're like, yeah. And all you need to get started is this pack right here. It's only $29.99. I'm like, where? That's all I need. Okay. and then they're just like, hey, you want to play like this 30,000 point game? And I'm like, oh fuck, that sounds awesome. Yeah, they're like, well, you're gonna need to buy a transport drop ship. And I'm like, fuck, I want that transport drop ship. How much is that? They're just like, how much is your left ball?
And don't you want to paint these figures that you have?
Oh yeah, you gotta paint, so then you gotta buy
paint them, you gotta customize your army.
So then you're dropping another $2,000 on your painting setup and your oof.
Yeah, it's bad. But now I got a 3D printer, so go fuck yourself. Gamers Workshop.
I say this, and then I have a literal 200 board game collection just staring at me, so I cannot talk about sinking money into hobbies.
My tiny board game collection does not compare.
I lost half my board games in the divorce, and I'm still very upset about it.
Same.
Let me send y'all some because I bought a house, and now my house is just becoming a gaming library.
Yeah, I'm looking. I've got Smash Up, Small World, Lords of Waterdeep, all my Star Trek games. That is Eldritch Horror. And like that's it. And I had like Zombicide, like so straight from the Kickstarter, signed by the creator, with a bunch of figures that I painted. I was like, oh fuck! But
painted Zombicide, you could sell that for good money.
Yeah, well, I could if I got it in a divorce, but I didn't get it. So
Rip.
now I'm bitter all over again.
I've got Return to Castle Ravenloft, Terra Mystica, Small World, Smash Up. I've got one that I just got from a Kickstarter called Nunami, which is a sort of a cooperative, like terraforming game, which is actually based off of like Inuit folklore, and it's actually made by Inuit creator.
That's awesome. I'm mad that I don't know about it. I want it already.
Oh shit!
Oh, Terra Mystica. You're a Terra Mystica player.
Yeah.
Ooh, that one's a little heavy.
It is heavy.
I felt the judgment in that question.
No, I love heavy games, but like you have to be in that mindset.
You have to be in the right mindset to play it. I also have one called 504, which is like 504 different variations of games that you play.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Did I get that one that first? I might not have. But that one is like, yeah, it's got this whole rule book where it's like 9x9, like there's 9 different sections. So you could be like, I want to play a worker placement race to the finish with where we collect coins.
Oh, that's so cool. And then you can play that game that you just kind of mini created.
You just mini created on the fly, and it's got like it's got so many pieces.
Oh my god.
So
That's
many
really
pieces.
No, thank you. That's why I'm starting to lean on the TTRPG side of things and slowly and moving away from board games because it's just like a PDF don't take up room in my house.
Well, you just need to befriend someone with a lot of board games and you'll be set. Make them
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I do miss playing Betrayal. That was my favorite game. And Elegant Char, because that is my second favorite game. But other than that, like, I never really got the chance to play Smash Cut or Small World. I just owned them.
Skeleton Army for life. I love my go-to team for Small World is the skeletons, because as you take over places from other people, you make more skeletons from their corpses.
That tracks. Yeah, that makes sense.
That fits your aesthetic.
Yeah.
Can see that. I can see that.
Skeleton Army.
Yeah.
So we've been going on close to 3 hours. So I want to ask one last question from me and then one last question from you, Anita, and we land the plane?
Yeah.
All right. So my question is this. This is one that I'm trying to ask every guest. You are emperor of the TTRPG community for one day. Anything that you want, like if you say Wizards of the Coast no longer exist, then that happens. Like, you know, whatever you want in the TTRPG space happens. What do you do for the day?
I would literally spend all 24 hours on social media. So I'm emperor. I have unlimited amount of money. I'm going through everyone's socials and literally just PayPaling them like $1 million and be like, do what you need to do with this. Like, make shit happen. I would just give people the resources. They can buy new equipment. They can, you know, do whatever they want. They can buy whatever they need to buy, get their equipment set up, get everything. Don't have to worry about maybe a day job or anything, and just say like, make shit happen. Let's tear down the barriers as much as we can. I would talk to Twitch and YouTube and get these people verified that need.
They're like, but where's their fucking pug though?
Not the pug, the bones, no bones. I would make everybody have a bones day and just give them everything that they need to be successful. I wouldn't do anything for them. I would just give them the resources that they may need, upgrade whatever they need to upgrade, give them some stable income and say, hey, this is y'all's community. This is what we need. Do what you need to do and start changing shit. So
you would literally throw everyone a bones day.
Literally, I would just give them all the money that they ever need.
I'm just imagining what somebody like Dare would do with $1 million, and it would be brilliant.
I'm saying,
like Austin with Millie, like
just start the
Banana Chan.
Banana Chan.
Fuck.
I'm saying these people with brilliant ideas and limited resources, like kickstart whatever you need to kickstart. Hire
with $1 million. I'm terrified.
Buy your own studio, buy your own production crew, like do it big.
Gabe would just come out the next day like, so I found a way to the Feywild. Like we were talking about building a game. He's like, yeah, but the Feywild.
He wants to do a LARP in the literal Feywild.
Right. Jump through this portal. Let's go.
Oh, all right, and Anita, your question.
Next day, Twitter changed the requirements for verified.
Yeah,
true though.
You're not wrong.
You know they would.
Okay.
Power pose. I like it.
I'm trying to think of a good question to cap this off with.
Oh, fuck it up. Think of a bad question.
Oh, no.
Let's throw everybody for a loop.
Okay.
What's the best Mountain Dew? Why is it Baja Blast?
Of course it's Baja Blast.
Duh.
Everybody knows this.
Code Red would like to talk with
Red.
you. Yes!
I was like, oh, no.
What is your most controversial Mountain Dew opinion? That's not my question.
I know, but that's going to be a question we ask every guest starting from here on out.
You're gonna ask them if they crunch dice and if they're Team Baja or Team Code Red.
There is no other option.
Danny, what is your most wholesome story at a TTRPG table?
My most wholesome story. Let me think about this.
That's a damn good question.
That is a good question. Let me think through. There was, let me look it up real quick. Let me not misspeak. It was for a charity event, and it was to stop AAPI hate. Let me remember who was at the table. But the whole game was all AAPI AAPI, not necessarily just from America. I think we had a few Canadians too. But it was really all about found family and how you can come from different generations. Oh, it was for Fuck Cancer Roll Dice. It was for Fuck Cancer Roll Dice. And it was really cool because we had a lot of different types of Asians represented. So it wasn't just an East Asian, Southeast Asian thing. And that was really cool to be able to be at a table where a lot of times when we do talk about the Asian community, you only see light-skinned East Asian people, and we were able to tell a story from all of our different cultures and backgrounds. But it was I think the story was set in space, so it was kind of futuristic, and we were all meeting at this family reunion, and it was just at this turning point where I was just like, it's really cool to feel like you're a part of so many different communities at once. So we were all playing tabletop RPGs, but then I was with the Asian community, I was with the queer community, and it was kind of like that point where it's just like, this is why I love tabletop RPG, because you can connect with people across communities. You literally live that, you get to play into that intersectionality where just because you are part of one community doesn't mean you can learn from someone within that community. And that was just that one turning point when I was just like, this is what I fucking love about this. Like, it's so cool to tell stories with, again, people that I, that were relatively new to what was to me. And it was just a really cool point. And we were raising money for charity too. And that's one of my favorite things about our community. Is like, we're always looking out and we're always trying to affect something bigger. So
we're all,
that's awesome.
I love it when your table is intersectional at every level.
Yeah.
Not just intersectional at one level or token representation, when you genuinely go and you make sure that you have representation at every level.
Yeah. And I will say the first time that I met y'all was the Newlywed Game.
Yeah.
On Super Dylan's channel. And that was really cool too.
That was just such a unique experience. I loved it.
When we shared a single brain cell for the entire time.
Gang, still the winners.
Yeah, y'all are still the reigning champions. So
we're the reigning champions until it happens again. Diana, hit us up. I was this close to actually getting one of those cheap WWE belts. Just walking around.
How long ago was that? Oof.
That was a couple of months.
That was back in March.
Time doesn't make any.
I said a couple of years. I don't know what time.
I certainly hope not.
I think it was back in February or March.
Yeah.
Or no, it was around Valentine's Day. You're right.
Oh, Valentine's Day. Yes.
So, this February, not last February. All right.
It was just before I quit my job.
Hey, so I mean, it's about time for a rematch. Let's bring out all the TTRPG duos and then y'all can see that you're not ready yet. You're not ready for this heat. I'm highly competitive.
Bring it.
Let's do it. I'm
With
totally down.
that being said, we're about to land the plane here. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been an amazing, fun experience. You were just a bundle of joy, and I hope you know that this is not the last time you're gonna be on the show.
Oh, no.
I always threaten people like you're gonna come back. You just don't know it yet. But I'm not gonna do that to you because you can easily flex me. If going to the gym this week showed me anything, instead I need to wash my goddamn mouth.
Stop.
So with that, we're gonna wrap things up. I've been one of your hosts, Noir. You can find me all over the internet as the TTRPGs. That's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Please show me some love on Twitch because Twitch is not. Please check me out tomorrow. I am the producer for Rivals of Waterdeep. So that's on at 9. A lot of wild stuff going on Rivals. And it was just announced that Rivals is going to be at PAX this year. What? I'm also going to be in PAX, but I have nothing to do with the PAX live show for Rivals. But I'm still supporting them anyway.
Get more guest spot.
Do it.
We've got Cypher next week. We can ask her.
You better shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna be in chat. Don't worry.
Shut up. My panic voice and it's ugly. I will also be guesting on Lords of Faerun next week. And so I'll be able to play with the wonderful Super Dylan. So I am super excited for that. So please check that out. Of course, every Wednesday you can find me on Chromatic Chimera for Woven Realm. Mondays nothing, Tuesdays nothing, Thursday.
We got to get some more actual plays going.
Nothing. Fridays nothing. Saturday find me back here again for Morning Ritual. With Cypher of Tyr, Tanya DePass, and then that's it. So passing it off to the other host. Yeah,
I got it. Hi, I'm Anita or Benita or Critical Misses. You can find me everywhere online at Benita or at Critical Misses. I'm a TTRPG streamer, graphic designer, producer, and cat mom. You can find me here most days. We're trying to work on our next season roster and slate, so stay tuned for that. And you can also find me Wednesdays over on Vancouver by Night for a Changeling the Dreaming 20th anniversary game called Tales from the Rookery, where I play a Eshu storyteller by the name of Pen, who got a whole bunch of stuff agreed to when they had missed a previous session, and party did a whole lot of speaking on Pen's behalf. So we're dealing with that. You can find me here next week. Again, we have Tanya DeBass. We have Cypher of Tyr coming in and chatting with us next week. And that is pretty much it for me. We're going to throw it over to our wonderful, amazing guest this week, Danny.
Hey y'all, my name is Danny. You can find me all over the internet at Br00talDan. That's Br00talDan. Fun fact: people thought it was Br00talDan, like it was a play on like a paladin. So it's not Br00talDan, it's Br00talDan. Yeah, you can find me on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, OnlyFans. I'm just kidding. I'm not on OnlyFans, but maybe we'll see. Maybe one day.
Make the request, y'all.
I really appreciate y'all having me on here. Be on the lookout. I haven't been streaming or guesting as much. Y'all are. I had to make an exception for y'all because I made this agreement way back when. But some cool things are coming up. Just be on the lookout on the Twitters. I'm super excited. And y'all can hold me to it. I will hopefully be in a place where we can keep pushing forward our amazing community and hype up voices and get to where we need to be getting and have people's stories being told. So thanks y'all for having me.
Aw.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
You have been a dream guest. I've been wanting you since season 1, and we finally got you. Like, yay! And so I guess that means it's time for us to raid
I think
someone.
we're gonna go Black Cats. We're gonna go say hi
Follow
to-
Black Cats Gaming. Yeah,
They're playing some Dungeons and Dragons, and we can send some love over that direction.
absolutely.
Looks like they're doing their
After the fire,
Game of
session
Thrones
building.
Session building.
Yep.
Nice. So yeah,
Yep.
we'll send some love over that direction. Thanks everybody for stopping by and hanging out with us. You have all been amazing and wonderful and lovely. But we have to get going. You are awesome. Thanks so much, Sensei Suplex, for that raid earlier today. Those of you that stuck around, thanks for joining this madness.
Your community should call themselves Brutal Stands. I just had to get that out.
That's good.
And on that note, we're going to send you all over to follow Black Cats, show them some love. But until next time, everybody, the ritual has concluded. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.